Hey Caitlin, this is Kirsten Bible, and I am fresh out of the shower, so I'm a little damp, and so I apologize for that. And this is take two because I recorded a video and I realized I didn't turn on my microphone. So, yikes. That's okay because now everything's really clear in my head. So, the first thought that I had in watching your presentation was the very indistinct line between blogs and discussion boards that's sort of there for Blackboard at least. You talked about using your blog as your communication tool, and you said something about discussing the students being able to discuss things, and that just kind of popped into my head. The quandary that I've been having: where is the dividing line between a blog and a discussion board? So that's just something that I was thinking you should consider as you're getting your tools ready. I think that I finally am starting to realize that a blog's about self-reflection, it's journaling, but then people can comment on it. So it's like, hey, read my journal about my experiences, and then people can comment on it. But the discussion board really seems to be for back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's just something to think about when you're designing. You may decide that you want to go over a discussion board, just depending on what you're doing. So anyway. The next thing I love is your idea to use Zoom to interact directly with your students. So I know our book, which I have right next to me, on page 67, this is our Teaching and Learning at a Distance book. I'm now citing my reference. On page 67 says, from a study in 2009, that student-to-student and student-to-content interactions had greater impact than student-to-teacher interactions. And so I think that sometimes we can read that and maybe think that the student-to-teacher interaction just isn't important at all. We think, oh, it didn't have as great an impact. Well, it does have an impact. And it sounds like you really realize that, and you're going to use this tool to interact directly with your students, which I think is really awesome. I have a supervisor who's teaching an online class at the University of Arkansas, and she said that her students were very appreciative in their evals about how she really interacted with them one-on-one, personally, and they felt like that she was really taking an interest in them. And so I think that even though we really do need to be concerned with the student-to-student interaction and student-to-content interaction, that we shouldn't forget the student-to-teacher interaction. So I think that's a really, really great idea that you're going to be meeting back and forth with them. I did have a question about Zoom because I've never used it. Is there a mobile app for Zoom? Because I love the idea of you being able to observe while they're teaching, you know, in another state, maybe another town, certainly not in the same room that you're in. And I just wondered if there was like a mobile app for, you know, them to film that, or did they have to bring their laptop or whatever? So anyway, I really do love the idea of live observation instead of letting them edit it. So good idea there. I really like that. My last thought was on your idea of Google Doc. So I had no idea what Google Docs were until I started in the EdTech courses. Last year when I took Foundations, last spring, I was like, whoa, what's this? We can do stuff online together at the same time. Like I can watch you typing. So we were doing some group work, and it was like, well, this is a really, really great tool. And so I really like that you're using it for the group work and the interaction. I think it's a really, really great idea. Love the idea of the long-running lesson plan where they get to go back and they get to tweak it and fix it. You're commenting on it. Their classmates are commenting on it. I know sometimes I get really tied to my ideas for my lesson plans, and I don't want to share it with anyone because I think it's awesome the way it is, and then somebody will comment on it and I'll be like, okay, that's a really good idea. So there you've got the student-to-student interaction and the student-to-content interaction because they're interacting with each other's content. So it's really awesome. My only suggestion on this is to consider whether you're going to have them also have to submit it separately. And the only reason I say this is because I know, because I use Google Docs at work now all the time. And so if I build something in Google Docs with all the formatting, which I'm like a formatting, like OCD about formatting, and so I use bullets and you know, bold text and italics and blah, blah, blah. And then when I paste it into Word, it's a mess. And I have to go through line by line and clean it up. every single time. And so I would feel like you would want to avoid that frustration for your students and say that you're going to grade what's on the Google Doc instead of grading what's in the like the assignments, like if they have to turn it as a separate document. Also, I know that as a student myself, I don't like to feel like I'm having to do double the work. Like basically redo an assignment, like here, you're going to do it this way, now you have to do it this way, which is where that formatting thing comes in. If it was just like a copy paste, it'd be different. And if there's a way to download Google Docs into Microsoft Word with all the formatting, please let me know, because I could really use that. But so that was my thought on really loving the interaction of the Google Doc, but maybe considering the difficulties or the frustrations in turning it in as a separate document. And also asking you, if you know of a way to do that without that formatting nightmare, please let me know. Like, send me an email, kbible@uark.edu. So anyway, looks like you've got some really great ideas for your class, and your students are lucky to have you. So good luck.